we have team The Achievers with us. The topic of their presentation is Let Your Grit Make You Achieve. I request the mentor of the team, Shiksha Jain, to start with the presentation. Over to you, Shiksha.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Esteemed jury and teachers and everyone, welcome. We are the team Achievers, and our topic is Let the Grit Make You Achieve, which is something really insightful, which I believe all successful people have in them. So, without any more delay, I introduce you to our team members. Karan Kaushal, he's from Punjab. Raaina, who's from Mumbai, and Hrishitaa, who's from Pune. I apologize for Tanay. He can't be with us today because of some personal issues. So let's just start by what actually is grit.
So, let us give the limelight on the word grit. Grit is not just a word which consists 4 alphabets of English vocabulary, G, R, and I and T. Actually, grit has a very deep meaning in itself. It is a very major part which is can be seen in our life. It plays a very vital role in our life and a very important part in our success. It is a passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals. It is like a key to the success. So what grit isn't? Grit isn't just luck, talent, or skills. Grit is something which you want in the moment. It is like the passion, the thing that you want and you work for your life to achieve it.
Grit as a part of psychology. When we study grit as a part of psychology, one field that definitely comes into notice is positive psychology. Positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life most worth living. So basically, it studies ways and methods in which we as people can make our lives more fulfilling and happy. The characteristic of grit is largely related to this field, that is, positive psychology. Grit is a non-cognitive skill. Non-cognitive skills are defined as the patterns of thought, feelings, and behaviors that are socially determined and can be developed throughout the lifetime to produce value. So, grit, being a non-cognitive skill, can be developed. We will now take you all through a small story.
So here is the story of a guy whose name is Karan. He was persuaded by his father to study commerce, but he doesn't have interest in this field. And he always try to avoid it. As we can see, he have thrown the books and the text from his father, who is pursuing him to choose commerce as his career. It affects him very much. As we can see, when he get party texts from his friends, he immediately agreed to them and leave his studies behind.
What happens next in the story? We'll have to find out. True grit is making a decision and standing by it, doing what must be done. No moral man can have peace of mind if he leaves undone what he knows he should have done.
Now, we will look into the work of the researcher who coined the term grit, Angela Duckworth. She's an American psychologist and author who teaches psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. She is best known for her research on grit, in which she studied high achievers and proved how grit was a common factor amongst them. Now, how was the research done? She developed a grit scale that was a questionnaire used to evaluate focused effort. She studied students at Chicago Public School to determine whether a student's grade predicted their graduation. And the results were West Point cadets who scored highest on the grit test were 60% more likely to succeed than their peers. Ivy League undergraduate students who had more grit also had higher GPAs than their peers. When comparing two people who are the same age but have different levels of education, grit, and not intelligence, more accurately predicts which one will get better educated. Competitors in the National Spelling Bee outperform their peers not because of IQ but because of their grit. Grit, the raw endurance, perseverance, and passion that keeps you going despite obstacles.
So, my teammate, we are talking about grit. Can you tell us that what are the characteristics of grit?
A person who has grit is passionate, has perseverance, and is resilient. When you are passionate for something, you feel an intense enthusiasm for what you do. Unlike many people who are excited about Fridays, if you're passionate about your work, you would be excited for Mondays. Passion makes you gritty. Perseverance is the persistence in working on your goal despite facing obstacles. If you desire to achieve something, it won't always be a smooth road. You will face obstacles, and facing them is a part of the process. Resilience is the ability to withstand adversity and bouncing back from difficult events. You have to put a lot of time and effort to build it. Beauty people are interested. They practice, they have purpose, and they have hope in whatever they want to achieve. Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out, and not just for a week, not just for a month, but for years. Angela Lee Duckworth.
Well, meeting friends instead of studying. What happens next in the story? Let's find out.
Here we can see that our hero Karan has arrived from the party. He was enjoyed for that time, but now he's disgusting as hell because he has seen his books again. He's very disturbed now because he don't want to study. Instead of studying, he uses a phone to make him entertain. But when he was scrolling YouTube, he saw that there was a lecture by Angela Duckworth. He can't resist to open it. It was so interesting for him that from the start to end, he watched all the lecture and it affects him very much. So our hero gives him some time and start thinking about himself and his interest. Well, that lecture was pretty well. Karan has changed his mind and he is pursuing his interest now. Instead of commerce, he has taken science and he is keeping his purpose forward and moving to his scientific career. Well, now he don't go to any parties and miss many time with friends and just study because he like these subjects. So after an year, when he came back, he saw that his life is changed. Now he has accomplished the exam. He has cleared J main with the rank of 600. And if he was a commerce student, he can never achieve a success like that. Sometimes we just need to give some time to think and realize that what we want and to follow our grit.
That is how transforming grit can be in our lives. Now that we know what grit is and what characteristics are accompanied by grit, let us know some important facts about grit, which was stated by Angela Duckworth, the main researcher, and Caroline Adams Miller, who is a grit and goals expert. Number one, grit is subjective. People may have grit in some areas of their lives and not others. For example, people may be gritty when pursuing their passion like dancing, singing, music, art, but may not be gritty while studying. This is because they want to save all their energy and efforts for one ultimate goal. Number two, grit can protect you from burnout and turmoil. A high level of grit is associated with less burnout among doctors, according to a study in the July 2017 issue of Postgraduate Medical Journal. A study in 2015 issue of Psychiatry Research found that college students who experienced negative life events, such as scoring less marks or breakup with a significant other, were less likely to experience suicidal ideation after 5 weeks if they had high levels of grit. This fact can be because gritty individuals are defined by their ability to push through hardships because they focus on their ultimate goal. Number three, grit can be learned. There's a misconception that people are born gritty. This is not true. Many of the characteristics that underlie grit, like honesty, generosity, may be by birth, but others can be cultivated. We'll find out ways about how to develop grit in the later part of the presentation. Number four, grit is malleable. What that means is it can be developed, changed, affected by various life events such as educational intrusion, reflection, change in cognitive abilities, etc. The fifth and the most important fact is that not all forms of grit are good. The best kind of grit is what Miller calls authentic grit. Authentic grit is the ability to pursue one's goal honestly, with determination, perseverance, and passion. But there is a darker side to grit too. There are unhealthy forms of grit. Faux grit is the grit wherein people are willing to take shortcuts and cheat in order to achieve their final goals. They are not concerned about honesty. All they are concerned about is success.
I am the greatest artist in the whole world, and I have achieved this all on my own.
This is what Miller calls selfie grit, wherein people constantly feel the need to draw attention to their successes and fail to acknowledge the people around them who have helped them achieve that. The third form is stubborn grit, wherein people continue to pursue their goals even when it becomes meaningless to them just because they thought it is a goal. They thought it was a goal for them. So even after it becomes meaningless, they do not have any interest in it. They still keep on pursuing it. Grit is not just simple elbow grease term for rugged persistence. It is an often invisible display of endurance that lets you stay in an uncomfortable place, work hard to improve upon a given interest, and do it again and again. Quoted by Sarah Lewis.
So, what is the importance of grit in life? Can you make some limelight on this topic?
Grit has an important part in self development. Gritty people learn to embrace challenges, learn from criticism, find inspiration from the success of others, all the habits that make them grow. Researchers also find a strong connection between grit and self concept.
Role of grit in mental health. Well, grit also plays a very vital role as in biology in our mental health. It directly affects our brain and it gives us relief from the stress. Gritty people are very less likely to prone to adverse mental health outcomes like stress or anything. Any failure or any kind of negative thing in their life cannot change their mindset and it doesn't even affect their mental health. The people with grit are correlated with lower levels of depression or any kind of mental issue. This has been demonstrated by three recent studies in the University of China, the college students of USA, and the high school student of Philippines. They have noticed that grit and mental problems have an inverse proportion to each other. The more the person is grit and is confident and passionate about his purpose, he has very less symptoms of mental health issues. And hence, grit is a mental health killer, a mental health problems killer. Role of grit in achieving success. As we know, grit is already a major part in role of in achieving success. Success doesn't only depend on talent. Grit is a far more reliable and a trustworthy tool which can be used to achieve success. It is a powerful force that will make you to move toward your goal, and you can't miss anything toward your goal. Even if you want to not to go toward your goal, grit will obviously gonna make you right in the direction. Here's the equation and pie chart. It is serves like an example which is given by Angela Duckworth to show that talent and effort will give you skill, but effort and skill will give you achievement. In this, she just wanted to say that the efforts which were imposed by grit on us, because of grit, we make many much more efforts towards our goal and which leads to our achievement. God honors a beautiful blend of gift and grit. He gives the gift and he expects us to have the grit to practice and learn how to use it effectively. Very well said by Beth Murray. Grit provides a sense of purpose. Grit gives us a sense that when we wake in the morning, we have something that I have a duty toward this world. I have taken birth in this world and I have a work to do. Grit also helps us in improving our everyday life. It doesn't matter that how the day will, grit will obviously gonna make our life better. It gives us motivation and a hope, which is very best part of it to improve us our life. Grit makes us more happy and it makes us ignore the problems which we face now and gives and makes us to feel that the future reward is coming.
Now we have come to the survey analysis. We conducted a survey to study the characteristic of grit among teenagers and young adults. The survey had three main objectives. Number one, to know the level of awareness about grit among people. Number two, to understand the importance of grit according to people. And number three, to study the existence of characteristic of grit among people. Objective 1, level of awareness about grit. In order to know this, we asked people if they were aware of the word grit. 56% people said yes, whereas 44% people said no. We then asked people to describe grit. Out of those who did, about 40 to 50% people got the concept of grit wrong, whereas the others could describe it correctly. Further, to increase our knowledge about the awareness, we asked people if they think grit can be developed. And if they do think it can be developed, how so? About 84% people said yes, 3% people said no, and 13% people said they don't know. Out of the ones who said yes, they suggested ways in which grit can be developed, which we will discuss in the later part of the presentation. Objective number 2, to understand the importance of grit. In order to understand the importance of grit, we first asked people the importance of other characteristics. The first one being talent and skills. We asked, do you believe an individual can be successful with only talent and skills? 27% people said yes, 34% people said no, and 33% people said maybe. The others had varying responses, including It requires determination, luck, and patience to be successful. And skills and talent need to be put to proper use in order to be successful, and capabilities also matter. The second characteristic that we asked about was hard work. On a scale of 1 to 5, how important do you think hard work is for someone who wishes to be successful? Out of the 100 responses we received, all of them rated it between 3 to 5, signifying the importance of hard work in everything we do in life. Now, finally, we asked, do you believe that in order to achieve anything in life, a person requires grit? 61% people said yes, 35% people said not sure, and the rest said no. Our third and final objective was to study the existence of characteristic of grit among people. As we have presented, the main concept of grit is for long-term goals. In order to study that, we asked people if they end up losing interest in tasks that take a long time and give up easily. About 70% people said that sometimes they do lose interest. 16% people said they never lose interest in long-term projects, and 14% people said they always lose interest and give up. In order to be more specific about the level of ability to handle the long-term projects, we asked them on a scale of 1 to 10, how easily are you able to complete long-term projects? Majority of them rated it at 8. Another important characteristic of grit is to have a growth mindset. So we asked people, according to your evaluation of yourself, do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? About 83% people said they have growth mindset, 12% people said they have fixed mindset, while the rest 5% said they were not sure. They were not sure about the meaning of fixed and growth mindset, or they were not sure which one they possess. From the survey that we conducted, 3 important conclusions can be drawn. A lot of people are not aware about what grit actually is. Some of those who know are not aware about ways to develop grit. Second, most people acknowledge that even though talent and skill are necessary, they are not the only factors for success. Hard work and grit are important too. The third one, people occasionally have difficulty in dealing with long-term projects, which shows lack of grit. Here we have some examples and case studies to demonstrate the characteristic of grit. We all know who this man is. Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, shows how gritty people think about failure. He's a big fan of taking risks. For proof, Amazon destinations, Amazon auctions, and the Fire phone are all failed experiments. A lot of people might not even have heard of it. To be honest, I also did not know. These are all failed experiments that Jeff Bezos had in his life. Yet, he's gritty and he's determined to keep on continuing on achieving his goal despite failure. During his talks, Rafael Nadal's uncle and trainer said, the secret to Nadal's success is not his talent, but his stamina, willingness to improve, and determination. This is a perfect example of grit. Here we have some other examples and case studies.
This is Nisha. She lived in a slum in Mumbai. She had a dream of becoming a doctor someday, but everybody kept telling her it was not possible and she was not capable of doing so because of her economic status. She could barely buy books, let alone pay the fees of a medical school. But she was so gritty about achieving her dreams that she went on to the main city and researched about how she could get scholarships. She went out of her way to get books for her to study. She managed to get a minimum wage job which she used for herself to buy books. After a lot of hard work, she earned herself a scholarship and was able to make her dream of becoming a doctor come true.
This is Amay. He had just passed his 10th boards with 64%. He had been receiving constant messages from his family and friends, not to congratulate him, but to tell him how weak he is at academics, demotivate him, and pass off negative comments. This had made his self-confidence very low. He had started to question his abilities and started failing in subjects he was good at. Frustrated, he went to meet his counselor, who then explained to him how he should stick to his goals, believe in himself no matter what, and be gritty. He first reluctantly took her advice and with passion started to work on achieving his goals. He soon overcame his fears and proved everyone wrong.
Well, that stories did pretty well show that what and how important the grit is. Well, we all know that how much a grit is important in a person's life. But what if someone don't have grit? What are the ways that someone can develop grit in himself?
Well, that is what we are about to discuss now. Ways to develop grit. We have divided this section into two parts. The first part is research-based ways to develop grit, and the second part is our personal suggestions based on our research, surveys, and other project work. Research-based ways. Number one, pursue your interests. Because if you're not pursuing your interests, what are you even pursuing? Until and unless you are interested in your goal, you're passionate about your goal, no amount of grit, no amount of hard work, no amount of talent can help you succeed. So you need to pursue what interests you.
Well, very well said. There is a quote by the great Warren Buffett. He says that choose the job when you didn't need any job. In simple words, we can say that he just said that we should go toward our passion instead of choosing what other will feed us in our mind.
Number two, practice, practice, practice. Because practice makes a man perfect. Until and unless you practice what you want to achieve, you cannot achieve it. It's not a one-step success formula. Until and unless you keep on practicing and be determined, even after failures, you can easily achieve your goal. You can develop grit.
Well, yes, practice is a long term thing which is necessary. As very well said by the great warrior Bruce Lee, he said that he doesn't fear the move which are 1000 moves practiced by his opponents by one time, but he feared that one move which is practiced by 1000 times by his opponent.
Number three, surround yourself with gritty people. A person is known by a company he keeps. Research has proven that if you surround yourself with people who have the same mindset as you, who want to achieve the same goals as you, and who are as determined as you will end up achieving your goals easily because you'll have accountability partners and they'll hold you accountable for your actions. So, surround yourself with people who are gritty.
Well, that thing is very important. That point you have taken plays a very vital role. It reminds me of a thing that sit with the winners, the conversation will be different. They just wanted to say that if your friend circle is big, it doesn't matter. The quality of your friend circle do matter. Your friend circle can show us that what will you do in your future.
Number four, and the most important one, develop a growth mindset. This is one of the major characteristics and ways to develop grit.
Indeed, it is a major thing to develop grit, a growth mindset. There is a very known quote on growth mindset that limits don't exist except that we have in our mind. So the mindset is the most powerful thing and we should keep it in.
The easiest way to explain the concept of growth mindset is to differentiate between fixed mindset and growth mindset.
I'm either good at basketball or I'm totally bad at it. So if I'm not good at it, I'm not going to play it anymore.
Well, even if I don't play well right now, I can learn and improve it in future.
I can never be like her. She's so successful and smart.
Well, I don't need to be like him. I just have to get inspired by his success.
I don't want people to say anything bad about my work behind my back, so I'm just going to sit here and not do anything.
Well, it is important for me to take feedback and criticism constructively. I don't know what my weak points are.
Well, I think this comparison very clearly stated the concept of growth mindset. Now we have some personal suggestions that we have drawn from our project work. Number one, believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, who else will? How will you achieve your goals? Just believe you can do it and you will do it. The most important thing in order to achieve your goals is to be confident about your abilities. It is rightly said, a bird does not sit on a branch trusting it won't break. It trusts its wings. It trusts its wings to fly. So, believe in yourself.
Take small steps. Get your larger goal and break it down into smaller and easier tasks. Believe me, you'll achieve your big tasks in no time.
Well, we need to understand the bigger picture. We need to change our perspective to see things. We know that we can do everything. Instead of that, we should choose our one way and should keep our all focus on it. As very well said, that changing perspective changes everything. When you realize that deer doesn't cross the road, it was the road which has crossed the forest.
Develop habits that will help you achieve your goals. Habits play a very important role in our lives. Habits create neural pathways in our brain. These neural pathways would keep on reminding you of your goal and would keep on reminding you everything that you have to do to achieve your goal. So, create habits that are steps to your ultimate goal.
Learn to fail well. Failing to learn from failure is to become successful in failing. Fear of failure holds people back from realizing their full potential.
Now we have a short video with a hope to summarize everything that we have discussed so far.
I don't think I can ever be a good artist. I don't have the skills. Every time I end up doing something wrong, I don't think I can do it.
You may think you don't have the required skills, but you do have passion and perseverance for your goal. And if you have that, you can achieve your goal. Just believe in yourself, stop that negative self-talk. Take small steps, celebrate small victories, and practice regularly. If you're sure about your goal, I'll be there to help you. Your grit will be there to help you. Don't give up.
If I can listen to my grit, so can you. Let your grit make you achieve.
So, with that, we have come to the end of our presentation. And what I have learned from this is we never lose, we either win or learn. So, thank you so much. Now we are open to questions.
Could you please stop sharing? Could you please stop sharing? Thank you so much. Well done, Shiksha and the team. Very well presented. Let's have a big round of applause for their efforts. Now, I would request our jury members to share their views and ask questions from the team members. Aparna ma'am.
Thanks, Team Achievers. Congratulations for your hard work, gritty work, I should say. It was interesting. And congratulations to their mentor. I have a few observations. Well, as you know, today is 31st of October. I wondered whether you knew that your presentation would be on the 31st of October, but this is the day, an exemplary day of a gritty man. I'm sure you know who he is, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. There were so many examples. So I'll come to the brass tacks. Well, I think Anon consultants, they started this. This is a great life skill, you know. The subjects have been given which are excellent and which are closer to your context, your hearts. They're very useful for your growth and development. And this is one of them. Your examples came, which were mostly from the Western world. You've quoted extensively from the Western authors. But I think the examples of grit can be found from your own context. You know, Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita talks about Nishkam Karma. We have these 4 Purusharthas. आप लोगों को पुरुषार्थ के बारे में मालूम है. हाँ, महात्मा गांधी का एग्जाम्पल, हमारा जो पूरा फ्रीडम मूवमेंट है वो ग्रिट का एग्जाम्पल है. So grit is, I mean, it's just not hard work. It's just not the focus. It's just not the accomplishment of a goal. It is, well, of course, it is work. It is the ultimate object of human pursuit, but it has a lot of determination. It has so much of passion, hard work, of course. And you said malleability. I would say adaptability. Never say die attitude. Then there is daring. And as opposed to daring, there is calm. And above all, you know, grit involves a lot of patience. जिसे संस्कृत में हिंदी में कहते हैं धैर्य. वो धैर्य जो है वो सबसे बड़ा aspect है इस grit का. So it's passion, determination combined with adaptability, calm, fortitude, courage, and then ultimately resilience. So, and as you come forward, and I'll again go back to Lord Krishna and Gita, he talked of कर्म योगा. हाँ, अभी आप लोगों का जो समय है वो कर्म योग का है, और वो भी है निष्काम कर्म का. आप लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, आप पढ़ते हैं, आप एग्जाम देते हैं, और एग्जाम में बहुत से लोग टॉप करते हैं और बहुत से लोग नहीं करते. लेकिन बात ये है कि आपका काम तो पढ़ना है, ज्ञान अर्जित करना है, you know, gain knowledge. And it's not just a knowledge. When we talk of Gyan, which Gita talks of, it's much more than that, you know. It is your work, your hard work, it is your knowledge, and it is knowledge which is, you know, शास्त्रीय है, जो धर्म से संबंधित है, जो ड्यूटी से संबंधित है. उसमें बहुत सारी वैल्यूज हैं, बहुत सारे संस्कार हैं. तो निष्काम कर्म जो आप करते हैं, you can't give marks to yourself. Like we are in the jury, there are so many people who are watching you. We are observing you in a very critical manner. Huh? And our aim is not to pass or fail you, huh? But to tell you what is useful. Be gritty. Huh? And I'm sure my fellow colleagues, Umaji and Shammi ji, they've been more in touch with youngsters like you. I come from a background, you know, I haven't worked with youngsters, adolescents like you. I can only give you insights about Nishkam Karm. I can only give you insights about Gyan Yog. Knowledge ही केवल पढ़ाई ही नहीं है, सब कुछ किताबों से ही सब कुछ नहीं होगा. It should be combined with so many other things, you know, passion, fortitude, determination, malleability, teamwork, appreciation, being kind to yourself, loving your environment. So having said that, well, my question is, while you were going through this journey, did you think about, you know, examples of grit amongst yourself within your family? Could you find someone close to you? I gave you examples from the freedom movement. Mahatma Gandhi was there. Well, Vallabhbhai Patel's birth anniversary is today. There was this 2-hour long program on the TV this morning, which most of you must have watched. the politicians, the leaders you have around, the sports people you have, and people who also excelled, and you have Tatas and Birlas in India. They are true examples. So did you think about people who are closer home, closer to you, who are gritty and who can be an inspiration for you? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer that. I think we've seen journeys of a lot of people around us, but I think before this whole project, we did not really know the concept. We did not know what exactly are we looking at. After studying this whole thing, I think we've realized that it existed before this, but now we've come to appreciate its importance. Now we've come to observe. Now we've come to take inspiration. So it was there, but now we've realized that it is, that it is important to us, and we are learning from it. So let's look at our parents. I think each one of our parents have worked hard throughout their lives. They've done so much for us. They've always at least taught us also to focus on our goals. But we thought of it as very subjective things, like people always do that. But after going through this whole experience, I think, at least for myself, I can speak, I've realized what exactly it is, what exactly they're trying to do, what exactly they've done all their lives. So this whole thing was very important for me to realize that people around me are actually so important and so
Good. Yeah, we have sports people amongst us. Mary Kom is one example. Kapil Dev was another. Virat Kohli is there. There are film stars there. There are theatre artists. There are authors. Please go on. Someone else. So I take it that, well, your journey goes on a gritty path on this, and you take inspiration and cue from here. And of course, 15 days is not the time to learn about grit and practice it in life. Congratulations and my best wishes for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Aparna ma'am. Shammi ma'am.
Thank you very much. It was indeed a very, very, very beautiful presentation. Very well researched. In fact, I am not able to find any questions to ask you. Everything has been answered well through the research. But I agree with Aparna ma'am that we need to look closer home. As Indians, we need to be proud of our own, heritage and culture. And I will add on to the list Ratan Tata ji, APJ Abdul Kalam. All these people are really gritty and have shown us the way, apart from Sardar Patel ji, whose birthday is today. So wishing you all a happy Unity Day, Ekta Divas ki aap sabko mubarak ho. So coming to it, as I said that there isn't anything left for me to ask. Well, there is, I will still have to say something. So there is a 1,000-hour rule that say that roughly you need to, if you practice for a thing for 4 hours a day. So if you practice for 10 years, then you are able to achieve that goal. This is called the 10,000-hour rule in grit. So you also talked about the growth mindset, but there is another mindset that is called the innovator's mindset. Have you heard about it? Have you heard about it? The innovator's mindset? Okay.
Maybe we didn't have heard about the exact word.
Right. They are the people who take the feedback and try to find new ideas out of that, and even the criticism. So if I ask you what is the role of criticism, because at many times when you are gritty, you're perseverantly following something, there are people who would be criticizing you, and it takes a long time to reach your goal. So how can you handle that criticism in your daily life and reach your goals?
Well, I would like to answer that question. Well, it is a very big part and very deep question in itself. I would try my best to answer it. Criticism is like a gift to us. We mostly think that it is a very bad thing which affects us, like people criticizing us, we feel bad that they said something to me negative, but it's a gift. As there is a Hindi quote कि हमें अपनी पीठ पे तिल नहीं दिखता. It means that the problems in us, we don't see it. We have a sense of pride in ourselves. It's a human tendency. It's proven by psychologically and biologically that we all see ourselves as the best. So we don't realize what we are. But a wise man, he learns from the mistake. There is a quote by Bruce Lee. Actually, I'm a martial artist, so I really follow him. Never correct a fool. He will hate you. But correct a wise person and he will appreciate you. So wise person take criticism as a gift and he appreciate you that you have helped him to see his bad things and he can improve it now.
Very well said. Even in Punjab, there is a Punjabi saying that I'll tell you, translate in English and say that always have a critic sitting in your courtyard. He's to help you improve. So very well answered. Fantastic. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shammi ma'am. Uma ma'am.
So thank you very much for a profound and insightful presentation. I too felt that the content was so solid and so strong that I think for the first time I was wondering what question should I also ask, because you provided an answer to all the questions that were there in my mind. So I think right from the story to the movie to the analysis, it was very well presented. So here I would like to just add one point before I ask my question. There is a saying that when you fall on the ground, you must use that very ground to be able to lift yourself. So it's very important to use your problem, not just as a problem. Don't look at it as your problem. Look at your problem as an opportunity to be able to rise and to really grow, not only in terms of actual benefits that people see, but growth in your own personal life, in your own life, in your own personality, in your inner self. So that I feel is very important. And for this, you definitely need grit. Yeah. So in terms of the question, I would just like one or two of you to answer that, there's been such a profound topic, which surely, as has been mentioned by Aparna ma'am and Shammi ma'am, that we have skills or qualities like resilience, perseverance, etc. So can you share or give an example of any one, even if it's a tiny change that has come about in your outlook, your personality, your behavior, or your habit during these 15 days? Because 15 days may seem, oh, only 15 days, but 15 days of just thinking day in, day out on a topic definitely has an impact. So can you share or any one example of the impact it has had in your life? Anyone?
I would like to answer that.
Sure.
Well, in this time of 15 days, as we know that there was lockdown, I didn't go to school in that period of time. We had some competitions in a school, but like in this lockdown, my link was totally broken. The online classes weren't even enough for me. So when I saw this program by Anon Foundation, this presentation, like I usually don't take part in these type of competitions of speaking skills, and my school didn't even take me because they have better options. But now I have realized in these 15 days that it is not just a fun, it's a responsibility, and it's something like that you like to do something. It is a work which you like to do, not others. It maybe seems hard for them to see that you got some work, he is busy, he need to do, but you actually enjoy. I am a very lazy person. And I realized in this 15 days that if I will work properly at time to time, I never need to be worried about. As while making this presentation, the work was assigned to be by my mentor. I was very delaying it and giving it on very extreme time, like just on time. I have shooted the movie 5 minutes before submitting it to ma'am. So that gives me a sense that if we move consistently, like small steps daily, it do matter, and we should divide the work.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karan. Really, it calls for a round of applause. I think we need a lot of courage to be able to share such a frank and candid answer, you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
So anyone else who'd like to share? Because I think, of course, his answer has rounded off the question very beautifully. Yeah.
I would just like to mention one incident within the presentation period. One of our team members could not join us at the end moment, so there were a lot of things left, and we all had to complete it. I think the old me would have started ranting and thinking, kaise hoga. But I think I've realized in these 15 days, you have to make it work. Just because something is there, something is not working your way, does not mean you don't have to do it. You have to do it anyhow. So instead of crying about it, instead of feeling bad about it, I think just do it happily. And I can tell you, not one of us said even once, what will we do now? I think we all just started our work and we just completed it. And I think that's a great thing for me,
Great.
for the whole team.
Wonderful. Thank you. Excellent. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uma ma'am. Aarti ma'am?
First of all, again, I was lost the way you were giving the example, the negative side of grade, the positive side of grade, how people take it, positive psychology, real meaning of positive psychology, very technical things you have told that most of the school students, I wonder, they are not aware. That means you have actually did a lot of research to understand first the topic, and then I'm sure you might be having the feeling, why this topic? There are other topics that are very simple. Why we have not chosen them? But why this? But anyways, wonderful approach towards what you have done. One thing that I have observed, and I was also surprised, what is the age category of the students or the people whom you surveyed?
They were mostly teenagers and young adults till 25.
Okay, if teenagers and if they are having the growth mindset of 53% that you mentioned, that means in Indian context, if this much percentage of people are having growth mindset, that means India is going to rock the world.
Yes.
Okay, so it's very important to understand that this kind of result that you are getting, if it will come to reality, then things we can do wonders, because we need to approach to so many people for this growth mindset, for this positive psychology. Subjects बाद में आते हैं, but ये positive psychology जो है, चाहे it is your this school or society, it's very important to have understand this positive psychology. Thank you very much. You have actually given me a good insight of growth mindset.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, judges and Aarti ma'am, for sharing your overwhelming and motivational words. Summing up the event, I want to congratulate the team for their brilliant and diligent piece of work presented by them. I hope you all have found this session highly engaging and fruitful for your future venture. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and elevating this session with your benign presence. Thank you so much, everyone.